What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Lock and Cash podcast. It is Sunday night after a crazy week 7 in the NFL. Just want to get up a quick reaction video for you guys, run through the slate, what I thought about each game, and what I'm thinking about each team right now. So for me, personally, a 2-1 day. We only had 3 plays settle. Eagles, I gave you guys that on the podcast. That was a win and cover. We had a little parlay that I added with the Browns and Judkins to score. That was a nice hit, plus 165. We lose our teaser. The Saints couldn't cover the first leg of the teaser, so that's gone. So 2-1, a winning Sunday, and 2 pending for tomorrow. Since the Broncos kept us alive, we'll get to that game. I'm still recovering from the end of Giants Broncos, but they kept us alive. So our 2-unit big parlay, biggest play of the week, is still alive for tomorrow night. And we have the Texans plus 3.5 tomorrow night. So there you go. So those are the 2 that we have left. We need the Lions and the Texans. Let's start with the London game. Rams and Jaguars blowout here. I told you guys I leaned Rams. I'm not surprised they won the game. I am a little surprised at how bad Jacksonville looked. Not a fan of the Jaguars. Faded them a couple weeks in a row now with the Chiefs. That didn't work. Faded them with the Seahawks. That worked. Was thinking about doing, if this got to 2.5 because the Jags were taking some money, I was ready to jump on the Rams at 2.5. But that did not end up, they never really got there. We had some juiced 2.5s, but we never got down to a 2.5. So ended up laying off the game, but the Rams just showed why. There was some talk about the travel situation here, about how they only got in the day before. I saw that. That was a little concerning to me too. Apparently, they know what they're doing, right? Who would have thought? Sean McVay kind of knows what he's doing. He's now 3-0 in these international games. And it was never a game at any point. I think it just shows you how we can be so quick to overrate teams. The Jaguars started off nice and hot. They were forcing turnovers. And now look at what happens when you don't have turnovers to mask your actual problems on the field. It gets ugly very quickly. So I think the Jaguars are still a fade team going forward. And I really like how this Rams team looked. I think they're on a good path. Saints 14, Bears 26. A little surprised in this one. Did not expect the Saints to come out and just immediately trail 20-0. They've been pretty competitive in most of their games. The Bears have, had essentially, they've won 3 games in a row, but 2 of those games were pretty lucky wins, I would say. The 1-point win against the Raiders, the 1-point win against the Commanders with a turnover late. But you know what? You got to give them credit. Even though it's a weak opponent, they came home, they took care of business. They didn't fool around. They didn't let them get way back into the game. I mean, it was close at one. It was like 23-14 at one point, I think. We needed the Saints for our teaser. They could not cover the 10.5. So the Bears take care of business. I think next week you have a great opportunity if you want to bet against the Bears. They go into Baltimore with the Ravens coming out of their bye, and presumably Lamar Jackson will be back. That line is currently up at 6.5. Let's just say I've been keeping an eye on it. I want to see what happens with that one. I may have to get involved, if you know what I mean. Dolphins 6, Browns 31. Big time win for the Browns. Wasn't surprised here. I gave you my spiel on this game last week on the podcast, how I thought the Browns were kind of a victim of their schedule and were a lot better than people thought, especially at home. The defense, I mean, man, hold them to 6 points, scoreless in the second half. Judkins, a huge game. That really helped me in fantasy, guys. I'm now 6-1 in fantasy, basically thanks to Quinshon Judkins this season. So that was huge. They helped Browns cashed our parlay with Judkins and their money line. So, yeah, I mean, not much to take away from this one. Listen, I think I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow McDaniels is fired. I think it's just a ticking time bomb right now with the Dolphins. He's going to go. He's not going to last the season. So it's just a matter of when do you do it. And I think after losing 31-6 to a 1-5 team, might be a good time to go ahead and call it quits. Patriots 31, Titans 13. I talked about how this was going to be a tricky one for me. Normally, to be honest with you guys, I would say like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, Jeff the handicapper would have ran to go bet the Titans after their coach got fired. Me now, I kind of but I think I've kind of learned that those spots can sometimes be overrated, overvalued, and you really have to profile the team. You can't just blindly bet these. You really have to look at it and say, is this a team that I even think is worth backing prior to and after a coach is fired? Do they even have, am I just accounting all of their problems? I'm throwing it all on the coach. This is what I was talking about last week on the show, saying like, this team has looked so bad that I can't attribute everything to Callahan, even though he was a bad coach. And lo and behold, the Patriots 31-13 beat up on them. And I also talked about how it was kind of equal motivation on the other side with Vrabel returning to Tennessee, and he got that quote unquote revenge that he was probably looking to get. I'm sure he wanted to come in there and beat the hell out of the team. And that's exactly what they did. The Patriots now, man, 5-2, 4-0 on the road. Got to hand it to the Patriots. They're having a really good start under Mike Vrabel. Chiefs 31, Raiders 0. Tough. I mean, what are you going to do? Listen, the Chiefs right now with this offense, I kind of talked about it on the show last week. I said, if you really think this KC offense is back, and I do, then you wouldn't be scared of laying 11 or 12 because they're going to blow out the. This is what happened. I stayed away from the game. In hindsight, I kind of wish I took my own advice because I was really leaning that way. I was like, I was trying to find a 10-point, two other legs to throw the Chiefs in a 10-point teaser. And I think I just could have just laid it, right? I should have just laid it straight up. I think I overthought it a little bit. Chiefs minus 11 was the right side. It was right. I mean, this game was never even, it was never close. It was never close. It was never in doubt. I think the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. They're atop my power ratings for 2 straight weeks now. This offense is humming with Rice back. He scores a couple touchdowns. I mean, what do you do? If they're going to score 30 points per game with their coaching and with their defensive pedigree, even though their defense doesn't have the best talent that it's ever had, it's not the fastest or strongest unit, but if they've got that defensive experience, that defensive coordinator, this coaching, and they're putting up 30 points per game, you might as well hand them the trophy now. Eagles 28, Vikings 22. This was our only side, like against the spread bet for Sunday. We had the Eagles minus 2.5. Thankful that came through. They looked really good to start the game. Get a touchdown, get a quick pick six. Exactly what I thought. I said they're going to have to win it with defense. Something's going to have to give here, right? The Vikings are not a great team. The Vikings put up some fight at the end. Kind of a wonky score. It would look like it could land on 2, which would have really upset me, but it looked like it could land on 2 at certain points. But Philly ends up holding on in a tight one late. And, they had to convert. Give Hurts a lot of credit. He was getting a lot of shit after the last game and just overall this season, but he played a great game today. It's partially what I talked about, the matchup of him against the Flores blitz. He burned them several times when they sent it all out and they just throw it up to AJ Brown, and it's so effective. And he was so good at placing those long balls. It ended up being the downfall of the Vikings. So it was nice to see a side on the Eagles actually come through like the way I thought it was going to come through in kind of the way I thought it was going to happen. So that was nice to get. And I think my main takeaway here is like Philly's going to be fine. I know a lot of people are concerned. They're 5-2, and we're talking about how bad this team is compared to last year. They're not as good as last year for sure, but you're never going to be able to match that same hunger as you had when you are chasing that first ring. Like it's just going to be different, right? They're not going to be the team that they were last year. They're still going to be a really good team. But I think that one thing that I did think about after that game was like, I just got to be more careful when, it might seem like so easy to back. Oh, the Eagles are great. They're great at home. Got to be careful because they're not going to be locked in every week. This is a team that's not going to be super laser focused every single week. They're going to bring it some weeks like they brought it today because they really needed a win. You can't lose 3 games in a row. So they're going to bring it on days like that. But some days they're just not going to be locked in. And you kind of have to be aware of that if you're willing to bet on them. Panthers 13, Jets 6. Not much to say on this one. It's an unmitigated disaster for the New York Jets. Aaron Glenn has had his job for probably a week too long at this point. You could talk about how bad the Dolphins are. You can talk about how bad the Titans are. They already fired their coach. Nobody deserves to lose their job before Aaron Glenn does. He is a disaster. He's given up on this team as well, which I think is concerning. Like, it's not just like this team is bad. There's plenty of talent on the Jets roster. He's given up on the team. One thing that stood out to me, right before halftime, Justin Fields gets sacked around midfield, like 18 seconds left or something. You have a timeout. What would most teams do there? Call a quick timeout because you're not going to be able to get up and spike it, and then take a shot for a Hail Mary at the end of the half. Just try to end with something. What do? They keep the timeout in their pocket and they just let the clock run to half. The coach has given up. The team has given up. It's a disaster. You're 0-7. Look at the schedule. There's not a win in sight. I mean, this was one of the wins you could have got. It's horrific. All right. Give credit to the Panthers. They're 4-3. I didn't think the Panthers would be 4-3. But the real takeaway here is the Jets are under no circumstances a bettable team in the NFL. If it's an NFL football game and the Jets are participating in it, there's no way you could have your money on that side of the game. That's my takeaway from this one. Giants 32, Broncos 33. A lot of you saw how this went. We need a Denver money line. So our parlay, our 2-unit parlay of the week is Denver money line, Detroit money line, which I thought was gonna be free as air. Like, I love this because I even leaned strongly to Denver -7 in this game, which I'm now glad I did not play not play that. But I leaned strongly to that, and I mean, the Broncos did not deserve to win this game at all. I mean, not even close. The Giants were in complete control the entire way. The Giants should have won this game. They outplayed Denver. They out-physicaled Denver. They ran the ball on them. They threw the ball on them. They played good, hard defense. It's truly unfathomable that they lost this game. I mean, it was, I don't even know. It's 19-0 going into the fourth quarter. I believe it was 26-8. 26-8, the Giants led with 5 minutes left in this game. The Broncos scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. There are no words. I said this a million times. Bad teams will find ways to lose games, and that is why I don't like betting on bad teams. I know you hear a lot of other handicappers talk about buy low this, buy low that. Buy low my ass. Listen, bad teams find ways to blow games and blow covers. That is what they do. So if you want to keep betting on bad teams, you're going to burn your money more often than not. You could, no matter what numbers you got. I mean, listen, the Giants cover this game, but they're going to find ways to not cover more often than they do cover. Now, the Broncos squeezed out a win. That was good for us. But also the takeaway here is that team's offense is completely broken. They have no cohesion, no rhythm, and it's been that way pretty much since the season started, from that first game against the Titans, where they just do not look like they can get anything going. If this team falls behind, I mean, you happen to do it against the Giants, but if you're playing a good team and you fall behind, it's over for the Broncos. It's done. And that's why I don't think they're going to go very far. Colts 38, Chargers 24. A little bit of a surprising outcome here. I thought LA was in a good position to make this a much more competitive game than it ended up being. You just got to really hand it to the Colts, man. I think the Colts are real. I think they're dangerous. They're 6-1. And I think the real takeaway here is if that offensive line stays healthy and if Jonathan Taylor is healthy, my God, they can run the ball on anybody. And if you can't stop them on the ground, it makes Daniel Jones's job so much easier. Like, everyone talks about Daniel Jones, how he's not very good. Eventually, he's going to start making mistakes. Eventually, there's never going to be an eventually if they can run the ball the way they're running the ball. Jonathan Taylor killed the Chargers today. And if they have that going, it makes Daniel Jones's job a breeze. Anybody can play quarterback when you have that. And I'm not taking away what he's done. He's playing great. But I'm just saying that is the real key to their offense. The fact that they can just line up with those guys on the O-line, and Jonathan Taylor can make you miss and run over you. And it's just so bruising and barring, and it's bully ball is what it is. And the Chargers got bullied at home. So, I mean, this was never a game at any point. A really impressive win by the Colts. The Chargers even got healthier, and it still didn't help. So, they're 4-3. Our Kansas City, we grabbed the Kansas City future on the division at +190 a couple weeks ago. That's now looking pretty good. I think that's going to be locked up. Commanders 22, Cowboys 44. Really like the Cowboys in this game. We discussed it last week on the pod. Jaden Daniels does get injured in this one, so kind of a misleading final score, but really the game was, the Cowboys were in complete control for the whole game. Super impressed with Dallas's offense, man. You want to take a look at next, I already peeked at next week. Cowboys +3 on the road in Denver. Very intriguing game. With the way Denver's offense cannot put up points. That could be one to look at. But just with Lamb back now, and with the way they're running the ball, and with the way Dak's throwing the ball, I mean, this team is putting up 40 like it's nothing every single week. Packers 27, Cardinals 23. Listen, the Packers are 4-1-1, but god damn, is it an unimpressive 4-1-1. This team is just not look right. They squeeze out wins here and there. I mean, after the first 2 weeks where they blew out Detroit and handled Washington easily, every single week since then has just been like, whoa, what is this team? I mean, they're winning games, but it's not pretty. The defense is good, but I don't know. It just seems like they're out of sorts here and there, and it's out of whack. I'm starting to think, that I can put them in that same category as Denver, the LA Chargers, teams that I think are good, but just not great and not going to contend. I'm not sure I can even say right now the Packers are top 3 in the NFC. I'm not sure I can make that statement anymore as I would have before. All right, guys, that wraps it up. Currently right now, it is halftime on Monday Night Football with the 49ers leading the Falcons 10-3 at the half. So that's what I'm watching right now. I have nothing on that game. We do have San Francisco futures, so it would be nice if they could hold on for a win. But 10-3 right now, Niners at the half. So nothing on that game as of yet. Tomorrow night we have Bucks, Lions, Texans, Seahawks. Now remember, I told you guys we need the Lions for a win, straight up. We need the Texans plus 3.5. If we get those two, that would be a 5-1 week 7. And you know that I'll be all happy about that. Now, listen, if you watched the pod last week or this and you enjoy the content, even if you don't subscribe to get my picks, pay for picks, whatever, it goes a like or a comment goes a long way. If I helped you get to cash the Eagles with me this week, or anything else that I have, the leans that I give out, like Kansas City, Dallas, if any of those help you with your betting week to week, let me know down in the comments. I like to see it. I like to hear it. And thank you guys as always for watching. I'll be back on Tuesday to look at week 8 with you guys and go down the entire slate. Thanks. Let's get it.